Good morning, children. I hope you all are safe at home. I, Mrs. Gunchananda, will be explaining you your first chapter of economics, the story of village Palampur. This chapter is completed in your text in 13 pages. Why I mentioned the number of pages? Because I'm going to explain it page by page. I'll explain you all the important details of every page so that it becomes easy for you to understand when you read the text on your own. So let's start page wise. To begin with, page number 1. In this chapter, we are going to study about the basic concepts relating to production. And this is done through the story of a hypothetical village, Palampur. Hypothetical means imaginary village. Farming is the main occupation of people of Palampur. Some other activities are small-scale manufacturing, dairy, transport, etc. To do all these activities, they need resources also, like human effort, money, etc. So through this chapter, you will learn how various resources combine to produce goods. Firstly, they have described about the village Palampur, how it is connected with other villages and towns through various means of transport like tonga, bullock cart, motorcycle, truck, tractor, etc. and good roads. Then they have explained about the number of families. That is, 450 families belonging to different castes. 80 upper class families own majority of land. Their houses are made of bricks and cement. That is, they stay in pakka houses. SCs and Dalits comprise 1/3 of the population. Their houses are small and made of mud and straw. Most of the houses have electricity connection and it helps to run tube wells also. It has 2 primary and a high school. It has primary health center and private dispensary. This depicts that Palampur has well-developed system of road, transport, electricity, irrigation, school and health center. Coming on to page number 2. Organization of production or factors of production. The aim of production is to produce goods and services we want. That is why we produce things. It has 4 requirements. That is land, labor, physical capital, human capital. Land is the first requirement. We need land and other natural resources like water, forests, etc. Second requirement is labor. Labor means the people who will do the work on that land. It can be highly educated people and it is the workers who do the manual work. Third comes physical capital. Physical capital means inputs required at every stage. Physical capital is divided into 2 parts. Fixed capital, working capital. Fixed capital means tools, machines, buildings which can be used over the years. Once you have purchased them, you can use them for many years. And working capital means raw material and money in hand. That means you need money at every stage to make payments and you need raw material according to the requirement. Last, it is human capital. Human capital means you need knowledge and enterprise to be able to put land, labor and physical capital together and produce an output. That means who will club up all these things together. Since farming is the main occupation in Palampur, how is it done? Now we are going to read about it on page number 3. Farming in Palampur. 75% people are dependent on farming. They could be farmers or laborers. Land area is fixed. Some wasteland has also been converted into cultivable land. Now, is there any way we can grow from same land? Yes, during rainy season, kharif crops that is jowar and bajra. Between October and December, potato is grown. During winter season, that is rabi, wheat is grown. Some of its portion is kept for the family's need and rest of it is sold in Raiganj. Sugarcane is grown once in a year. Now, why are farmers able to grow 3 different crops? due to well-developed system of irrigation, due to electricity. Now, due to electricity, Persian wheel was replaced by electric run tube wells. They could irrigate larger areas of land. First few tube wells were installed by government, and then came up private tube wells also, and multiple cropping. Then they started growing more than one crop on a piece of land. They started growing two main crops and potato as the third crop. This is called multiple cropping. It increased the production on the same piece of land. So these are the reasons why farmers could grow more than three crops. Now coming on to page number 4. How to increase production on same piece of land. Firstly, we did was by multiple cropping. Now second, by modern farming techniques for higher yield. Till mid-1960s, they used traditional seeds. Traditional seeds needed less irrigation, cow dung could be used as manure, and they didn't need to spend on buying any of these things. But in late 1960s, the Green Revolution came up and the farmers came to know about HYV seeds, high yielding variety seeds for cultivation of wheat and rice. They could produce much more than traditional methods, but they needed plenty of water, chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Moving on to page number 5. Farmers of Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh were the first to try it out. Along with modern farming techniques, that is HYV seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, they even used farm machinery like tractors, threshers, etc. It drastically increased the production of wheat. Now they could earn a lot by selling the surplus in the market. Next question arises, that is, will the land sustain? But because of the use of modern farming techniques, the fertility of the soil was decreasing. Also, the use of groundwater for tube well irrigation was reducing the water table below the ground. These are natural resources, that is soil and underground water. It takes lot of time to restore them if they are overused. Moving on to page number 6. How is the land distributed between farmers in Palampur? Now, first factor of production, that is land. How is land distributed in Palampur? About 1/3 of 450 families are landless. Dalits and others have no lands. Others who own land, that is 240 families, and they have land less than 2 hectares. That means 240 families have land less than 2 hectares. It hardly brings them any income. Then there is a story about Gobin, a farmer with 2.25 hectares of land who cultivated the land with his 3 sons. They could only feed themselves and could earn a little more from the buffalo. After his death, this small land was divided among his 3 sons and it became smaller than that. With this small piece of land, they couldn't earn much. So they had to look for some extra work. So this is to tell that how they had to struggle. So in Palampur, there are 60 families of medium and large farmers and some large farmers who have land more than 10 hectares. So you can very well imagine how unevenly the land is distributed in Palampur. Moving on to page 7. Who will provide the labor? Second factor of production, that is labor. Now land will become productive only when we have labor. So small farmers work on their own with family members, so they don't require laborers from outside. Medium and large farmers hire laborers from outside to work on their fields, and in return they pay them. Moving on to page number 8. These medium and large farmers pay them in return for their work either in kind or in cash. Kind means they will give them some article like vegetable, wheat, oil, and cash means they will give them money. They are employed only for a particular period of time and then they are left without work. In the conversation given here, you can see the picture where two people are discussing about their problem. And the problem is, because of modern farming techniques like tractors, threshers, etc., these laborers are not getting work and thus they are left without work. And they have to borrow money or have to move somewhere else to look for some work, maybe to a factory or somewhere else. Because till they work, they will not be able to earn. So how difficult it has become for them to earn. Moving on to page number 9. They have even mentioned about Dala, a landless farm laborer who works on daily wages. Now government has set minimum wages to be rupees 60 per day for a farm laborer, but Dala gets only 35 to 40 rupees because of heavy competition among farm laborers. So many laborers are without work. That is, if Dala doesn't agree to work for 35 to 40 rupees, someone else will work and earn the money. So there is very heavy competition for work. Next comes capital needed, third factor of production. Most small farmers borrow money from large farmers or money lenders to buy various inputs for farming. But the rate of interest is very high and at times they might even fall into debt trap. There is an example of Savita, a small farmer who decides to cultivate wheat. She needs cash for various inputs, so she takes loan from Tejpal, a large farmer. He gives loan at a very high rate of interest. At the same time, she even promises to work on his field. She now has to work on Tejpal's field and also do her own work. She has to fulfill the household responsibilities also. But she agrees to all these conditions because she knows it is difficult for her to get money otherwise. Look at the poor condition now. But in contrast to her, small, medium and large farmers have their own savings from farming. Moving on to page number 10, sale of surplus farm products. Now once the crop, that is say wheat, is grown, now what they do is medium and large farmers keep some portion of wheat for their own consumption and rest of it they go and sell it in the market and earn profit. But small farmers use it and are left with only a small portion to sell. Their production is too less. So it is medium and large farmers who supply the wheat in market. Then the traders buy it and sell it to the shopkeepers. Now these large farmers like Tejpal Singh, who have surplus wheat to be sold, they earn the profit and keep some money in the bank account. Some of it they use it to lend it to farmers like Savita, and some is used for arranging working capital. And finally they prosper. Next comes non-farm activities. Now in Palampur there are certain non-farm activities also taking place. That is the last topic for this chapter. So first non-farm activity is dairy. Now in dairy what they do is they sell milk products in the neighboring villages and towns. There are certain collection cum chilling centers also to transport milk and other dairy products to other towns and cities. So they sell dairy products to earn for themselves. Coming up next is small scale manufacturing. Less than 50 people are involved in small scale manufacturing. It involves simple production methods and are done at home with the help of family members. Coming up next, shopkeepers of Palampur. There are not many people involved in this. There are some traders who buy various goods from wholesale markets and sell them in the village. They sell items of daily needs like rice, wheat, sugar, tea, that is basically grocery, notebooks, pen, pencils, that is stationery, and maybe other articles of daily needs. Some people whose house is close to the bus stop, they sell eatables. And the last one, transport. There are some people involved in transport also. There are variety of vehicles connecting Palampur to various villages and towns. Various vehicles like rickshaw, tonga, jeep, bullock cart, truck are used for transporting people and goods from one place to other. These are the ways in which people are involved in driving, and this is how they earn as a transporter. With this, we come to an end of this chapter. On the next page, that is the last page, they have given you the summary of whole chapter. Once you read this chapter thoroughly, you should read the summary because it will give you the conclusion of the chapter. And all the question answers for this chapter I am going to send you in the form of a PDF. Please jot down in the notebooks. If you don't have notebooks, please do it on piece of paper and staple them nicely and keep it safely. When we meet back, we will check it for you all. Thank you. God bless you all.